It's Ali. It's Ali. It's Ali. As the saying goes, nostalgia is one hell of a drug, and a lot of YouTube's gamers are hooked on it. I see so many videos on how gaming is not the same anymore, or how modern gaming is a disease on the art form of video game. And while I agree that a lot of the gaming industry nowadays is corrupt and needs to be changed, I've been finding myself conflicted with these kind of takes and how people interact with art and media in general. A lot of these nostalgia takes can be boiled down to you're just not, 14 anymore. Your life is harder now. The cold reality of not having the same excitement for your favorite hobby, it hits hard. The medium is pretty young and it's evolved so quickly. You can point out a console generation and explore an endless amount of games just in that generation itself. I mean, there's so many game releases at this point, you will never be able to play all the games you want to. You're gonna die before GTA 6 comes out. Of course, these same sentiments can't really be made for online or multiplayer games, and preserving games that require server space without a dedicated audience has been proven to be pretty difficult. And recently, I've noticed that a lot of live service games have been taking advantage of how valuable playing on nostalgia can be. Fortnite has their OG remix seasons and are actually going to repeat their update cycle by re-releasing Fortnite OG as a separate mode with classic mechanics such as the infamous double pump. Apex Legends and Overwatch have classic events, putting out modes that recreate their game at launch. And COD has been milking nostalgia for what seems like a decade now, rebooting the Modern Warfare franchise, having multiple releases with the same name, and also shoving fan favorites like Woods into literally every single Black Ops game. I mean, I know it's like a continuous story, the Black Ops story, but damn. Unfortunately, this isn't a real way to preserve a game. These are limited time events, and these franchises are getting so old that we're getting releases of games that are just pasted over the last game, making the last game impossible or very hard to access. It's a way to sell nostalgia but not actually commit to it in a consumer-friendly way. I find the preservation of media very important. With how much work is being put into so much of this industry, it is worthwhile to keep documentation on it or actually just have it itself. With online games, it's a lot harder. I wish there were more of a server browser, like peer-to-peer options available, because in the future, if these servers go down, the game's just inaccessible. One part of nostalgia in gaming that I do respect, though, is retro gaming, whether that be media preservation through playing with old physical copies and equipment, or emulating games. I love these aspects because they somewhat fight back against the constant acceleration towards more games and consoles and PC GPUs all the time, every year, every 6 months, and, slowing down consumption on a personal level. There's so much to take in and enjoy in this hobby, or really any hobby. There's no need to rush through a backlog or make sure you're doing everything all the time. And especially if you're not enjoying it anymore, you shouldn't force yourself. I feel like a lot of people kind of miss out on that aspect, especially when it comes to playing yearly releases like Call of Duty or maybe NBA or something like that. Especially for people who play COD, because all these people do is ask for old maps or ask for things like the old prestige system to be back. If you're not liking it or the game fucking sucks, time to give it up. It's time to let go. And of course, there's always the aspect of remakes and remasters. Now, this can go in one of two ways. You can get something that's actually pretty solid as a remake, such as Resident Evil 4 and Silent Hill 2, or you can get something like remastering The Last of Us 5 times. Remakes obviously take advantage of nostalgia by repackaging a beloved franchise and, serving up to a new audience. I mean, the movie industry has done this since the dawn of time and have made a good bajillion dollars on it. So Resident Evil 4, I never actually played the original. I know it was really renowned and well respected, but I just wanted to play the remake, and I thought it was really good. It did actually open me up to the franchise in a really positive way. I played a bunch of those games last year and I had a really good time with the franchise. I still haven't played the original RE4, but I will say that banking on nostalgia in an actual good way does open it up to a whole new audience, which is advantageous for these studios to do. For Silent Hill 2, I actually did play the original ahead of time, and I recently finished the remake, and I thought it was amazing. You know, this is a perfect way to deal with nostalgia in a, you know, an actual like respectful manner. They completely translated the game's vibe like in a one-to-one way. You know, you got the same composer, you got mostly the same dialogue, a bunch of nods and references to the old game that actually feel pretty subdued and tied into the plot in a positive way. You have things like Maria's character actually being a lot more fleshed out by actually referencing her appearance in the original game with her outfit and talking about the Born from a Wish DLC. Silent Hill 2's story is probably one of the best in a game that I've ever played. If you want to see my full take on that, I do have a survival horror video I put out a while ago. Just me absolutely glazing Silent Hill 2. But, you know, this remake, before it came out, it was highly scrutinized. I think that people were judging Bloober Team based off their old releases. It even had me pretty mixed on it because I honestly thought it was just going to be shit based off what people were saying. Like, the combat looks clunky, they're not going to get the vibe right. I think in this case, the nostalgia factor was a positive thing. Having played the original game, I feel like I had even more respect for what they were able to do with the remake. I'm not really sure how someone who never played the original or knows the original story would feel on it. The aspect of James' character was a lot more novel with the fact that it was like such an old game, and in that era it was a much more novel like twist. While not necessarily being media preservation, I still respect remakes and remasters when done correctly, even though it is playing on nostalgia and directly selling that nostalgia. Because at the end of the day, nostalgia isn't necessarily bad, but I do think it's worthwhile to look at your media consumption outwardly. I respect this medium as an art form. There are so many games that I care about deeply and hold close to my heart. And I love live service games as much as the next guy, but it's like comparing a quarter pounder to a home cooked meal, you know, sprinkled with love. Got me floating through the kitchen smelling that home cooked meal. I mean, I like quarter pounders and I like pie. I'm an eater. Noticing these trends in gaming and when it's appropriate and when it's not can actually be pretty valuable. You know, these live service games, if they keep going down this route, they're gonna outrun themselves and not have original content. Obviously, if nostalgia is dove into too much, you just get cyclical shit like you see in the movie industry with franchises like Ghostbusters or Star Wars, and you just get the same regurgitated shit all the time. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I pointed those out as examples, but I don't really watch movies, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Noticing this trend, I kind of worry about, you know, live service games running into the cyclical nature. People don't realize this shit is not gonna be infinite. Eventually one day these servers are going to die. I actually kind of like this game too. Oh well, another Ubisoft game down the fucking drain. But who knows, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe there'll be Call of Duty 99 and I'll be 80 years old hopping onto that new Fortnite season. It could very much be possible. Yeah, this is pretty much just a yap video. I yapped for a little bit. I hope that was an enjoyable video and I hope you have a great day. See ya. Bye.